The world's most haunted locations you should visit. Recently, there has also been an upsurge in foot traffic to Civil War battlefields in places like Auschwitz, maybe as a result of tourists' desire to comprehend some of history's most tragic events. The following is a list of the top dark tourism destinations worldwide. Chernobyl, Pripyat, Ukraine. On April 26, 1986, an explosion occurred at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Pripyat, Ukraine, leaving the area in ruins and uninhabitable. Despite the fact that it is now unsafe to visit due to the ongoing Russo-Ukrainian war, Chernobyl has grown in popularity as a destination for dark tourism since the Chernobyl exclusion zone opened to visitors in 2011. As of now, Pripyat is a deserted ghost town with buildings such as schools, hospitals, apartments, and a theme park with a Ferris wheel and bumper cars all standing empty. Land formation could take up to 20,000 years, according to scientists. Cape Coast Castle. The Cape Coast Castle in Ghana was built in 1653 with the goal of exporting gold and lumber for the Swedish Africa Company, but it later played a significant part in the Atlantic slave trade. Many people retain the widespread misconception that captured Africans were sent to ships that were getting ready to travel across the Middle Passage through the door of no return at the slave trade station and were never seen or heard from again. Over the years, it has grown to be a prominent tourist destination for certain Black Americans, including former President Barack Obama, seeking to reconnect with their roots. However, others have since argued that the door may not have even been connected to the slave trade and may have instead. Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, Alcatraz Island in San Francisco Bay, California. You might be surprised to learn that Alcatraz Island in San Francisco Bay is one of San Francisco's most popular tourist spots. James, Whitey, Bulger, George, Machine Gun, Kelly, and Al Capone were among the infamous inmates that were incarcerated at the former maximum security federal prison Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, which closed in 1963 and was more commonly referred to as The Rock. Over the years, Alcatraz has cemented its place in popular culture through music and movies. It's also thought of as a U.S. currently national park, has about 1.5 million tourists per year. Guided tours of the main prison, the dining hall, and the lighthouse are available to visitors. Catacombs of Paris, Paris, France. In the 18th century, overcrowded neighborhood cemeteries in Paris were a significant public health concern because they were facilitating the spread of disease. The city elected to respond by converting its subterranean Lutetian limestone quarry into enormous underground ossuaries. More than 6 million dead Parisians' remains are kept in the Les Catacombs de Paris, also called the Catacombs of Paris, which are located around 65 feet below the streets of the City of Light. Visitors may now tour the enormous room and hear about its interesting history as they see the countless human skulls and bones that line its walls. Murambi Genocide Memorial Center, Murambi, Rwanda. One of the most desolate places for dark tourism is the Murambi Genocide Memorial Center in southern Rwanda, which was originally a technical institution. The area itself is attractive, with rolling hills and other lovely views, but it was also the scene of a horrifying massacre in 1994 during the Rwandan Civil War that claimed approximately 50,000 lives. After receiving assurances from the authorities that they would be secure there, the 65,000 refugees from the Tutsi minority population fled to the technical institution. Instead, they were held captive without access to food or water before being massacred by a Hutu militia that the government sponsored. The ensuing massacre is alleged to have only left 34 people alive. Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum, Hiroshima, Japan. Since it first opened in August 1955, the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum in Hiroshima, Japan, has dedicated itself to preserving stories, pictures, and other artifacts that portray the unfathomable terror and loss of life that the city endured after being hit by the world's first atomic bomb on August 6, 1945. In case you missed it in history class, the United States dropped the bomb. The museum receives an estimated 1 million visitors yearly and is a particularly well-liked location for school field trips around the country. Victim testimonies are contained. The Killing Fields of Chung Ek, Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Before the Khmer Rouge used the location for extensive atrocities, it was an orchard and a Chinese cemetery. The largest of the killing fields, Chung Ek, was located on the outskirts of Phnom Penh, and between 1974 and 1979, the Khmer Rouge regime executed over 1 million political prisoners in Cambodia, roughly one-fourth of the country's total population, burying the bodies in mass graves known as killing fields. Around 8,000 of the skulls that were removed from those mass graves are currently on display behind glass panels in the Chung Ek Memorial Stupa, a Buddhist-style structure built in 1988 to remember the victims who were lost. The remains of about 9,000 people were exhumed from the mass graves surrounding Chung Ek in 1980 after the regime was overthrown. National September 11th Memorial and Museum, New York City, New York. The National September 11th Memorial and Museum is presently located on the site of the former World Trade Center building. In fact, Ground Zero is one of the most well-liked tourist spots throughout the world at night, per a 2022 study by Passport Photo Online. In place of the Twin Towers, the National September 11th Memorial and Museum, which opened in 2014, has twin reflecting pools with the largest man-made waterfalls in North America. Each victim's name is written in bronze panels encircle each acre-sized pool. Relics, personal accounts, and special displays are just a few of the exhibits that may be found inside the museum itself. The bombing of the World Trade Center on February 26, 1993, is also the subject of displays. Auschwitz-Birkenau State Museum, Oświęcim, Poland. One of the most unpleasant places to visit is the Auschwitz-Birkenau State Museum, which opened in 1947 in Oświęcim, Poland. The largest Nazi concentration camp at the time, Auschwitz housed an estimated 1.3 million prisoners before 1945. More than 1.1 million people, including over 960,000 Jews, were slain there or died from illnesses like typhus, TB, and dysentery. It was also the site of a major genocide. Many prisoners suffered from boils, rashes, and abscesses that were mostly caused by vitamin deficiency. Scabies and other hygienic issues were also a problem. Today, Auschwitz serves as a museum and memorial dedicated to history, education, and commemorating the atrocities committed against other people. The ruins of Pompeii, Italy. When Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD, many nearby cities, most notably Pompeii, were completely destroyed. In the fall of 79 CE, Mount Vesuvius erupted, sending poisonous gas, ash, and other volcanic material into the atmosphere with the force of 100,000 atomic bombs. Later, Herculaneum and Pompeii, two nearby cities, were devastated. Nearly 2,000 years after its initial discovery, the ruins of Pompeii, which are a part of Vesuvius National Park, have become one of Italy's most well-liked tourist destinations, in large part because of the volcanic ash deposits that completely covered and preserved the ancient city. Numerous tours and guided excursions lead guests to historic sites close to the remains still imprisoned in time, such as Pompeii Archaeological Park. What are your thoughts on this video? Leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.